Sky, clear, range, also clear.
Alright, Sky and Range are clear. We have continuity on pad H and H. Griffin, good luck. 5, 4, 3.
Oh, that's another event. That's the main.
1.
Yep, that's the main.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm Griffin, and this is the remains of my L1 rocket. Let's talk about it. So, TSA Nightmare, my L1 and L2 certification rocket went up in flames. The short story of what happened is I did not install this motor casing, which is a piece of metal that goes around the motor, the reloadable motor, to keep the yeet in one direction, and it turned into a giant candle and burned to the ground. And I have many funny clips of that I'm sure will be playing future Griffin. Do remember that.
Griffin, I hate to break it to you, but I think the flaming end is us.
Right. We're gonna need to
Rick running?
thought about that one. The flaming end is on the wrong side.
Other than that, though, other than one step of user error, everything went phenomenal. And the event was tons of fun. Thanks to Jenna and Matt Patrick for, Jenna K and Matt Patrick for organizing the event. Thanks to Freddie for taking me. Thanks to my friend Emily for letting me just kind of chill for a few days. It was a ton of fun. It was a great event. But back to the rocket. Everything went well. The camera footage actually turned out really good for what it was, for all that it was recording. The GPS worked really well. The assembly of the rocket, everything went super well. But I made a couple of mistakes along the way that could have led to a much more expensive failure than it ultimately was. All the electronics survived. So what are the two things I need to do better next time? The first thing, I need to think through my electronics better, which has already been done and in the process of being made and verified to be not terrible. The cameras need to be able to be powered on and to have recording start in the rocket rather than needing to turn them on, start recording, slide them into a housing, slide the housing that has now warped due to heat into the rocket and try to screw them in. Same thing with the other electronics. I need a way to be able to turn them on from within the rocket. So I've made modifications to account for that I will probably go over in a future video. And I'm actually using a pull pin with a SpaceX tag that my friend Cam at Hot Nozzle Summer ended up giving me. And that's just going to be used, you pull that and it connects the battery with a micro switch, and the GPS and altimeter will turn on. And in the future, potentially other electronics, but that's it for now. The next change that I really need to make to my overall process is a pre-flight checklist, especially now that I'm not taking 20 minutes to arm electronics. I can take some breathing room and do a pre-flight of the rocket, go over everything. If I had done that, I wouldn't have forgotten the motor casing and I would have not lost the rocket. Yeah, that's really the takeaway. But I learned a ton. I got a lot of advice from some friends. I got to meet some really cool people I've been waiting to meet for a while. It was a ton of fun and I loved the event. It wasn't a total failure. The things that I took away, the things that I learned, the people I got to meet Scott Manley, Tim Dodd, Joe Barnard, many, many other peers as well. Some people I didn't know. Several people came up and said they knew me from Twitter, which was really cool. They were really excited to see TSA Nightmare fly. Sorry to disappoint. Although I don't think at the end of the day it was a disappointment to really anybody. I took it like a champ. Like, I didn't expect this to get through the airport, so burning on to a crisp on the pad was categorically further than I thought I would get. But out with the old, in with the new. This is the new first stage that I rebuilt. It's the same thing, but I did the fillets better. The motor retainer sticks out a little bit so I can more easily screw it in. I'm using actual JB weld this time rather than quick weld, which is a bit stronger and higher temp. And overall, the process went a lot better. Other than that, it's the exact same rocket. I'm probably not even going to paint it because I just can't be bothered to give a damn. And if all goes well, I'll be flying this in 2 weeks. I still have to see about that. So that's the post-flight recovery, or the post-flight post-flight recap. It's very hot out here and humid. This is actually going to get put into a display case. I'll probably have a video on that as well. That's actually going to be a video about getting into TIG welding, and we'll see about that in a couple months. I already have the case though. Not this casing, the case, display case. So yeah, that's the TSA Nightmare video. Hopefully that was relatively entertaining. I learned a ton from it. Hopefully other people have taken some common sense out of this video and learned from my mistakes. There's tons of other hot nozzle summer content out there. I'll link to some of it below. My friend Jake got some really good drone footage too. You should go check that out. Tons of fun. It was really more about the event and meeting people than even necessarily the rockets. So I'll see you guys next time. Finger guns.